Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my firm assists physicians with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about how a physician turns down a job offer. There's no sneaky legal or technical way to do this, but there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. And the last thing that a physician wants to do, or at least they shouldn't do, is burn bridges. So there's kind of a professional way to turn down a job offer. And then obviously there's an unprofessional way to do it as well. So let's first talk about how is a physician provided with a job offer, and then maybe a short difference between an offer letter, letter of intent, and then the actual employment agreement. So the process when a physician is finding a job, either the physician will reach out to the practice knowing that they have an opening, or a recruiter can reach out to the physician. Many times employers will hire physician recruiters to go out and bring them candidates. You could also have word of mouth through other people that the physician trained with in residency or fellowship. So at some point, if the physician gets hooked up with a job, there'll be an initial talk. So whoever the point person is, it could be, if it's a smaller practice, it could be the physician who owns the practice. If a physician recruiter is involved, then the point person, at least initially, would be the physician recruiter who would then set up a call with someone with the practice. If it's a hospital or health network, most of the big ones employ their own physician recruiters. Then that person would be the point person. And so at first it'll just be a cursory, here's what we need. And then most likely they won't even go through basic things like salary, benefits, compensation structure. There may be a mention of this is the range, but before they get into the details, what will likely happen is there'll be, a couple calls with maybe multiple people. Assuming that goes well, then the physician will then go on site and have an on-site visit where they'll meet everyone involved. Maybe I wouldn't consider it interviews, but more of just kind of a get to know you. You may go to dinner, you'll, kind of tour the facilities, see what they have to offer. After those, things have concluded, so they've had the calls, they've done a site visit, then if the organization wants to extend an offer, they'll usually do it verbally, and then, I don't know, maybe 50%, I would say almost always with the big hospitals, they'll always provide an offer letter first. And so the offer letter will then go over the basics of what's in the contract. How much will the physician be paid? What are some of the benefits? How long will the contract last? Maybe some of the restrictive covenants. So like non-compete, non-solicit. What are the bonuses? So there could be a signing bonus, relocation assistance, maybe how much they provide for continuing medical education on an annual basis. So the offer letter just goes through kind of the really quick and dirty details of what the employment terms will be like. At this point, the physician has the decision to make. So some places will not provide an employment agreement until the physician has signed the offer letter and then essentially committed to the job. Now, signing the offer letter is not a binding decision. So many times the terms in the offer letter will either change slightly once the employment agreement is given, or there will be terms in the employment agreement that make a job that look great at the beginning, most likely a terrible decision. So what are some things that make an offer letter okay, an employment agreement terrible? Well, the details of the non-compete, how long it lasts, what's the restriction, is it all practice of medicine or just specialty of the physician? Many physicians can do multiple things. So for instance, like someone in family practice or internal medicine could do hospitalist, urgent care, and family practice. And so what are the specific terms of the non-compete? How does the compensation change over time? If obviously the employer will pay for the underlying medical malpractice insurance, but if it's claims made policy, who pays for the tail insurance? Usually that's not in the offer letter, and depending upon specialty, that can be a huge decision point if tail is not offered. So if the physician gets the offer and then they say, you know what, this is not for me, or even after maybe they do the on-site visit and the interviews and they get a bad vibe and they say, you know what, this isn't for me. Don't just ghost the physician recruiter or the, whoever the director of the practice is, or so just cutting off communication and being silent. Although some people want to do that because they believe there'll be some kind of conflict when they say, I'm not interested in the position. It's an unprofessional way of acting. So they need to send, nowadays an email is sufficient. Just saying, hey, I really appreciate your interest. At this time, I'm gonna, go in a different direction. I'm not gonna accept the offer. Just be cordial. Don't go into, here are all the reasons why I don't think this is the right fit, but just give them a definitive, I'm moving on, appreciate the interest, maybe sometime in the future, we can revisit employment. And that's the main reason why you need to be professional when you're turning a job offer down is circumstances may change. So at the time the job wasn't great, but maybe in 6 months to a year, it looks attractive if there's an open position, and burning any bridges, or as I said before, just completely not responding to any communications from that employer will burn that bridge, and they most likely would never go forward with the physician. So if you want to turn a job offer down, you just send an email, say cordially, appreciate the interest, I'm moving on, maybe someday in the future we can revisit it, and then just leave it at that. If the physician has signed an offer letter, and then after reviewing the employment agreement, maybe they say, you know what, I'm not going to sign this. You need to do the same thing. You need to say in writing, I understand, I signed the offer letter. This employment agreement is either different or contains some terms I'm simply not comfortable with. Therefore, I'm going to, withdraw my acceptance of the job offer. Appreciate your interest, that type of thing. Now, I can just tell you from experience, if a physician has signed an offer letter and then kind of backed out of a job, there usually will be some hurt feelings, and pretty unlikely that the physician will have that opportunity available in the future. But just because you've signed an offer letter doesn't mean you have to go through with it. You need to make the best decision for yourself. This is a business, although, I'm a lawyer, but it is a business as well. And we need to make business decisions, not just, for ourselves, but for, for instance, for my law firm. And so in a business environment, you need to take care of you first. And so if a job is not a right fit, even if you verbally accept it, even if you sign the offer letter, even if you've gone to visit, don't go through with the job if you're not comfortable doing it. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any any questions, you can contact us at the phone number listed in the description below. I appreciate you watching this video, and take care.